morning. Today I want to show you how to make a really easy and quick card, maybe for somebody in your church who's in isolation at the moment, just to let them know you're thinking of them. So you'll need a piece of card. This is all made with things that you're almost certainly going to have around the house. I've not got any proper scrapbooking product. Some tissue paper, maybe you've got some of that in your gift wrapping drawer. There's a spotty piece there that's rather pretty. I've got some tracing paper. I've got a paper bag, an old paper bag, a piece of card, a tag, and then you will also need something pretty, perhaps some packaging, a photo that you like. I'm going to use this photo of this seed packet because the person I want to make this card for is a keen gardener, so I'm going to cut that one out. You'll also want some cardboard, so that's going to make our sort of chunky layers. So if I wanted to stick on these flowers, for example, which I will later, I might want to put some of this card behind just to raise things up. And then also any magazines you've got. I've got this one I picked up for free in ShopRite, and this is going to form, for example here, I'm going to tear out pieces of pretty colour to make up my paper layers behind my photograph. So start by finding your photograph, find all of these bits, find your photograph and trim that out. Go through a magazine and find just some bits. That's nice because it's got a pretty blue. It doesn't need to be completely plain because we're going to layer these up, so you're not going to see a lot of the text and things. We just want the colour at this stage. So just go through your magazines and literally tear out chunks. You might want to stick to one colour, or you might want to mix up the colours. I'm going to go, because this is a card for a chap who's a gardener, but I want it to be for his wife too, I'm going to go for a sort of pink and blue theme. So go through your magazines and tear, and then I'll join you again in just a minute. Okay, so I've cut out my picture and I'm just going to mount that on a piece of card. So any card you've got, this one's got a nice texture, but just any white card will do. So double-sided tape or Pritt stick, something like that. Other glue sticks available. Oops. Yeah, so just pop that on some card, and that gives it a nice white frame. And it also gives it a bit of sturdiness because it is just a piece of a magazine. Don't worry if there's writing on your photo, we'll cover that up later on. Then just snip that out. Now what we're basically going to do is layer up the pretty layers and then pop that photo on top. So when you're doing scrapbooking, card making, anything like that, you start with your big layers. It's like decorating a room. You start by painting it. You don't put your cushions in first. So we're going to grab some big bits first, and the trick with this really is just to snip them all to a decent size. Actually that one's already quite a useful size, isn't it? So just, whoops, drop that one. That one's not far off. Let's just square that off a little bit. So I hope you're all well today. I hope this finds you happy and enjoying the sunshine. It's a beautiful day out there. We got out yesterday, well actually we just walked to ShopRite and back, but it was lovely to get some fresh air and get out in that lovely warm sunshine. So I'm going to move those out of the way. I'm quite good at getting messy when I work. So you've got your neutral layers, should we say. So let's just pop a few of them together like that. I like things nice and messy so that everything overlaps and looks quirky and ruffled and whatnot. And then all we're going to do, because we're going to have a photo there so this won't show, is pop some staples to hold them all together. If you've got, perhaps if you are a crafter, you might have a doily or that sort of thing that can look pretty, and you might also want to put some paint. In fact, let's grab some paint. Wait there. Okay, so this is just a tester pot of paint from the Islands DIY shop. And you can just squidge it on. And you might like to do a couple of different colours, or you might like to water that down and splash some splatters on to make a decorative background. I'm going to try and not get that everywhere now. Actually, it doesn't show, does it? Let's have a bit. Needs to go a little bit further out. And really don't worry about this not being immaculate. It's in the, I think, it's in the quirky ruffledness that things look really pretty. So you might also like to have a look in your Bible for a verse perhaps that you think is relevant to the person you're sending the card to. I'm going to struggle to get this backing off now because you're watching. Really struggling. Let's have a look. Oh, there we are. The verse I've picked, I've just printed it out loosely on our printer. The person I'm sending this to is a farmer, or he was a farmer, and he's very well known for excellent flowers. So very into gardening. If ever we've got any questions about farming or gardening or nature, he's definitely the one you go to. So that I thought I would cut out at the end and pop it inside the card as a kind of greeting. So now you're wondering what we're doing with all these. Wait, maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I might not use all of these, I'm not sure about the yellow. Let's see. So here's our photo. Let's see how we can possibly use some of these to make layering pieces. And they can just add a little pretty pop of colour. Can you see how that's making a sort of border? It doesn't really matter if there's type showing, that's going to be inevitable, I think. Advert for Dandara there. Let's chop that down. I'm going to leave that a bit longer because that's got a lovely pretty blue at the bottom. That looks pretty, doesn't it? What do we think about the yellow? I'm not sure about the yellow, although it is quite Eastery. And we are not far away. No, I think I'm going to leave mine there. I am going to try and position my photo so that some of that text is covered. So I'm just making these look a bit more random in terms of positioning. That's quite nice. And then same again, pop a staple. Ooh, reluctant stapler there. I think that's going to hold. Okay, so next we can raise this picture up a little bit on some packaging. Just a piece of cardboard. Chop a chunk out, and that will give it a little bit more lift. So let's stick that on. And perhaps if you're stuck indoors at the moment, this might be a nice way to get creative in all this free time we've suddenly been gifted with. Right, let's pop a bit more on there because we don't want it falling off. Check I'm still recording and you're still with me. Okay, well that's upside down, that's not good. There, that looks cute on there, good. I was wondering about this tag. I don't know if folks will have these, but I thought you might have tags. If not, maybe another square of white, because that makes it pop, doesn't it, I think. Let's pop that one on there. Oh, it's a bit wobbly. Maybe I do need a staple in there. We don't want any wobbles, do we? There will be no wobbling. Right, tape is peeking out there. And this is something literally any age can do this. So if you're 8 years old or 80. Although I did run a scrapbooking group back across, and one of our older members did struggle with the tape with her fingers, so it might be that you use, actually no, a glue stick I think is probably the best thing. This is quite fiddly peeling these off. You have to have quite quite nimble fingers. But I think anybody can tear, and hopefully with a glue stick. Oh, see, I'm getting smudges of paint everywhere now because I've been impatient. Right, do we call that character? I think we're going to have to because it's not coming off. Okay, so I might tie that in a bow in a minute. Let's clear the decks and see what we're going to do next. I was thinking about these pretty flowers from that packaging, maybe something like that. Let's pop that one up with some cardboard again. More carefully cut cardboard than that. Where's my tape pen? Here we are. I think then it's just a case of writing a nice message inside, letting whoever it is know that you are thinking of them and that you maybe miss them a little bit at the moment. I don't know about you, but I'm missing a lot of my older friends. Right, so let's pop a bit of tape on there too. This card blank was, I think, from the Works, but perhaps if you're limited to online shopping at the moment, maybe Hobbycraft, I think, deliver to the island might be a good bet, or eBay, Amazon perhaps, or just take a piece of card and fold it in half. That would really, that's all it is, it's just a piece of card. So there, that's looking really cute. I like it a lot. Oh, I had a paper clip that I pulled out that I wanted to use. Let's pop that on there just for a bit more interest. It's quite nice if you can, with your embellishing, to lead your eye around. These little hearts were part of that cake. Yeah, you will have to buy cake to make this card. Sorry about that. But you could cut paper shapes from, or punch them if you've got a punch. Let's have a look. How about something like that? I'm going to get some gloopy glue actually and stick those on. That'll be a lot easier. And maybe you want to add some washi somewhere. I don't think I need it actually because I've got the spots there, but I think we're done. And then it's just a case of cutting out my thingy and popping it in and then writing a note. So I hope you've enjoyed that little tutorial today.